Hello, Karen here, Emerging Soul Tarot with your weekly energy read, and I'll base it on the Kabbalah Tree of Life. Um, I've drawn the three upper Sephirot to meditate on, but what's really interesting is, and I'll put a link at the top for this, but last week the Bastet and Commitment came out, two separate decks last week with a different one there. So really interesting. I think the message with the Bastet is this: slow down. And that was the title of the read last week, so go have a look at that, because this has got a slightly different turn on it. But yeah, it's the slowing down, the moving into a healing rhythm to restore your body, mind and soul. And Bastet, that goddess of healing, sacred potions. So there's a sense that I spoke last week about the intense cosmic intensity of the eclipses and the solstice, which is tomorrow, I believe. And how we need to kind of go within and get that relaxation. But also Bastet is there, or was called upon, for psychic protection from hidden negativities. So this is in Keter in the crown, so it's the will, the crown, so it's the will to slow down. I was thinking maybe I wasn't listening to the message, but it's certainly a message Spirit wants to bring again. So yeah, perhaps we need to take more heed of it this week. But this slow down energy and calling on for psychic protection to kind of protect where we've got to. And then in the Chokhmah, which is wisdom, it's the masculine, we have the ally in disguise. We had the North Star, I think. Follow your North Star. You'll have to have a look. But this ally in disguise, I'll show you the card. It's a beautiful card. You can see she's kind of shaded. You can't quite see who she is. And this is, from the hero's journey deck. So, and it's from the Road of Trials. So it's the sense of all the different people and situations you encounter, and not really understanding whether they're allies or enemies. It's called Ally in Disguise. Discover the hard to find blessing. So I think with the slow down card, there's a sense of digging a bit deeper. If you've done some work last week on that, there's some digging a bit deeper. And I think with this, the cosmic energies, there's certainly still a lot of things coming up to be released, reviewed and released within us spiritually. But this sense of we don't know the full picture. So you can have people come into your life that you think are your allies and turn out to be otherwise. And then people who you think are your enemies. But in hindsight, when you look back, when you reflect, those difficult relationships and difficult challenges were the ones that taught you your most valuable lessons. And made you resourceful, resilient, strong, courageous. So that card's about that. So I'm thinking maybe this kind of sense of, calling on source, spirit, whatever the universe, the quantum field, to kind of highlight and shield you from negative energies, and to help you to transmute those energies into a bigger overall vision, a vision of what it's actually about. Because sometimes our minds can just see the challenge, just see the difficulty, and get angry, upset, and really peed off basically. And to move into those negative energies. So yeah, this week I'm thinking Spirit is saying keep a lookout on those, and kind of take them to source to understand, you know, exactly what these situations. So if you've got a really difficult circumstance in any area of your life, or you're dealing with a very difficult relationship, you know, go to spirit, go to source, center yourself, and kind of open yourself up to get a new perspective. You know, this card feels energetically a little bit like the Wizard of Oz, you know, when Dorothy pulled back the curtain and there's a little man doing a machine. So it's that sense of we're not always sure. We can see these really difficult circumstances, and definitely out in the world there are a lot of difficult circumstances. But actually, I think Spirit is saying, you know, you need the perspective, you need the change of perspective. We need, I'm including myself, and the bigger vision that these things are here to grow and develop us. And then we got this commitment card, and this is in Bina, which is the feminine side of the tree, the third Sephirot, and it's actually the feminine cosmic womb. It's understanding, it's that kind of creative energy, cosmic energy. So it's the card commitment, and it talks about a flame within our heart and guarding that flame, a flame that we all have, you know, of love, of understanding, of vision and insight and connection, but protecting that flame. I picked up on the protecting side because of this ally in disguise. So it's that sense that when we're doubting, or when we're not sure, when we're unsettled or put off our footing, that candle flickers and it smokes, and you know, and when we're in any kind of negative energies, self-doubt, you know, the inner critic, you know, this lack of self-worth, the flame never goes out, but it flickers and smokes and it doesn't shine as brightly. So it's a sense of us, you know, understanding that these larger circumstances, and we perhaps need to slow down to see where we're tapped in a negative energy and need to have that kind of transmuted, that sort of view that we have, and then we can release, you know, when you get a new perspective on something that was really painful can then be released. You know, and it is a process. It's not going to be a quick fix thing, but yeah. So, you know, it's about us showing up, this commitment, showing up for life and allowing it as it is in its full glory, you know, whether it's beautiful or difficult, but kind of having that sense that we do have this connection with the all that is. And as I say, whatever way you see that, God, source, quantum field, spirit, but we do have that connection. And if we show up and we don't try and control, and you know, that can be often our drive and our fastness because we're trying to control everything. If you hold on to that sense that the flame's there and show up as it is, you can connect into that. So I really think Spirit is wanting us to sort of slow down to understand if there are any negative energies, and it may not be located in you but around us, but to understand the fuller picture and to know that this can be like an ally in disguise. It could be an opportunity for learning for us. Yeah, so as I say, I've probably done it already. I'll link the video to last week's energy reading. Okay, I'm going to pull the cards in the form of the Tree of Life and have a look and see what comes out for us and what Spirit wants to say. Okay. top one is Hesed, bottom one is Geburah. Split the pack, we'll have Tiferet. Give it another shuffle. So we'll have Netzach, Queen of Wands again, Netzach and Hod. Split it in the middle, and we've got Yesod and Malkuth. Yeah, look at that. Beautiful spread, people. Beautiful spread. So I've got a feeling that, you know, spirits want to break through with these kinds of energies in the coming week. I done a solstice read, and again I'll connect it up there, a link to it, but it was a beautiful call for people on the spiritual path, you know, particularly encouragement. And this read seems to be reflecting the same kind of energy. Perhaps our fastness and our kind of getting bogged down with everything that's going on, you know, these three upper Sephiroth, are stopping us seeing this energy or fully connecting in with this energy. So in Hesed, which is the fourth Sephiroth, and it's the flow down of loving kindness, of grace, abundance, we've got the King of Cups. I mean, we can have a better energy in there. Beautiful energy. So that's the kind of mastery that Spirit's bringing down to us. So we can have this, and, you know, I love this King of Cups because he's sitting there so chilled on a pretty rough sea. So that mastery over our emotions, over our, you know, with our intuition, I think this is something that Spirit's really bringing down. So the circumstances, especially our collective circumstances, may not change, you know, immediately, but what will happen is our perception and our response to all the circumstances around us will be a lot more kind of centered, calm, and, you know, help us not get caught up in these, you know, the kind of negative energies that are about. An opposite, which balances it off, is Geburah, which is the containment, which is the kind of limitation of Saturnian energy. But with the King of Cups, paired with it is this Three of Wands. I mean, I always see the threes as the, you know, incredible creative energies. So, you know, you had the one, they met the woman and they made a child, three. That kind of creative energy, it's fire energy, and this is in Geburah. But there seems to be a limitation of waiting. So the sense of, you know, looking forward, having vision, watching for your ships to come in. Well, this is quite a good balancing with this, because if that limitation is there on the seas, and this seems to be, you know, the water theme, so I'm thinking, I know there's fire and vision there and perception and feeling, but here we have the water again. So it's that, it could be that water of our emotions, you know. Very difficult not to be affected by what's going on out in the world, especially if you've got, you know, gifting in the area of empathy, really. But yeah, he's kind of quite stable there. He's waiting and watching. So, you know, this ally in disguise and this commitment, he's committed to waiting for those ships to come in, to be almost like a seer, you know, like a seer. So he's looking out into the distance, that sense of he's got a commitment. He knows that there's things at work that are bigger than him, and he knows that those ships are going to arrive in. He knows that Spirit is going to move in a way that's going to bring this beautiful harmony which sits in Tiferet, which is the heart, love, harmony, peace, beauty. I mean, again, 10 of Cups, completion. There's something collectively I really feel is we're in the middle of it being completed. And this again is that kind of beautiful promise. So I think as we slow down this week, we're going to really take hold of that vision of promise, you know, the rainbow, you know, the Noah story, that after the flood, and we're having a metaphorical flood here, globally, you know, the rainbow appeared, and it's a promise, you know, it's a promise of peace and prosperity and equilibrium, and this sits in the heart. So that sense of, you know, celebration, wrapping up the end of cycle. Yeah, so that's beautiful energy. Then in Netzach and Hod, which is the 7th and 8th Sephiroth, we have the Queen of Wands and the Sun. I mean, the Queen of Wands, I don't know about other tarot readers, but certainly for me, she's popping up in almost every read I do. Yeah, she's becoming really familiar now. So that kind of strong feminine energy. So these two Sephiroth work together. We got Netzach, which is it's actually masculine energy, and it's the outgoing energy, but there seems to be a spiritual energy coming down that masculine side of the tree, outgoing, which is the Queen of Wands, or similar to the Queen of Wands archetypal energy. So it's very visionary, very stable, very kind of really centered and aligned fire energy. So that sense of valuing, the valuing of all things. And as I say, the sight, you know, I mean, pyramids in the background, so the sight can be the sight that reaches back to ancient understanding. You know, sunflowers, and very interesting, here we have the sunflowers. I mean, what's interesting for me about those is the Fibonacci spiral, that kind of organic spiraling and cycle of life is patterned in that sunflower. It also absorbs enormous amount of nutrients, an enormous amount of sun. Yeah, hence sunflowers. Very open, kind of really open. So her energy is really open. The energy is really open here. So, and the other thing about the sunflower is the huge amount of seeds that it yields, you know. So with Netzach and Hod is on the feminine side. It's to do with the intellect, it's to do with glory and splendour, and this is paired with the Sun, which is a masculine energy. So with Netzach and Hod, there is that beautiful masculine feminine on the other sides of the trees, but this outgoing vision, this outgoing passion, this outgoing energy that comes from your alignment, and this kind of openness and embrace of the child. I mean, it's a solar card, it's you know, it's the father energy. It's beautiful. So yeah, I mean, what more can I say? In Yesod, and here we go, in Yesod is the Four of Wands, one of my particular favourite cards, and I've said it over and over, it's Wands energy again, but this is about the union of the masculine and feminine. Yesod is the place of intimate union of yin-yang, masculine, feminine, the kind of central part of the pillar which brings the polarities or seeming polarities into one. This denotes oneness to me. Chapa, that's in the Jewish tradition where they get married. It's homecoming of the soul. It's a marriage of the masculine and the feminine. and Yesod is the Sephirot above. When it's almost like the astral plane, so it's coming into the world. Malkuth underneath is the world, but this is the place of the subconscious, of the anonymity, of, you know, the all that is collectively in terms of what goes on internally. So incredibly beautiful messages, and it mirrors the energy I was feeling on the solstice read. And then in Malkuth, which is the world, we have temperance. This is what's, and here we have the sun again, you know. This is, you know, this is the balancing of all the elements, you know, the illumination, the balancing of the water and the earth, so our emotions and the material, the kind of balancing of the pouring out of the waters. So it's the that beautiful sense of balance of the elements being combined. And patience, you know, it gets related to patience. So, I mean, I've never done a Tree of Life read with such beautiful cards in. We've got Major Arcana, we've got ends of cycles, we've got a 3 that turns into a 4, and we've got the court cards, the masculine and feminine. And patience. So people, I think this week, you know, I think what Spirit is saying, we need to take time, slow down, take time, be committed to that kind of flame that's in your heart, but, you know, allowing it to still connecting with the main fire, the one torch, that connection to the whole. And the wisdom is having that change in perception, viewing everything that's going on a personal level and a collective level as an ally in disguise. It is a beautiful read. So I'm going to pull us a message card to wrap it up. But yeah, really interesting that out of 2 decks, the weekly read I done yesterday, 2 of the cards come out. So quite a message from Spirit. Slow down, smell the roses, you know, look at your connection, be open to change your perception of circumstances around you, or past circumstances, especially if they're challenging and difficult, because you're going to find the Wizard of Oz, the little man behind the curtain, you know, in terms of it's not insurmountable. It's yeah, allow life on life's terms. We've got deserts here. Picture of the desert. There we are. Always look for the good, even in the most difficult situations. So here's the good, folks. Beautiful energy coming down. Not quite here, we're still waiting for the ship to come in, not quite here, but have that commitment to know there are forces bigger than us working through us all. Align with that healing rhythm, yeah, because it's on its way. The sun will shine, the vision will grow, there's union, patience, people. Look for the good in the most difficult situations. All right, I hope that was helpful. Lots of love. Bye-bye.